morning, family. So welcome this morning, and before we begin, I'll just ask us to spend a couple of minutes in silence and just tune in to the Holy Spirit. So over the last couple of weeks, one of the things that's really stood out for me is the promise of the presence of God. And yes, it's something that we all know. We read the scriptures, we hear about it a lot, but it's times like this where we are tested and stretched that we find out what we really believe and what is really true. And yesterday I went for a ride with Gloria, and the day before that went for a bike ride with the rest of my family, and we were kind of talking about, the different aspects of being in isolation and not being able to get out, the things that we missed, what we would like to do when this is all over. We've got a long list, and right at the top is going to go get a good burger. And we were just kind of talking about the things that we were missing. And one of the things that has struck me is, sure, we're missing out on things, but at the same time, it's forcing us and forcing me to really acknowledge that inside my bubble is the things that are most precious to me. And so what I'm missing out on the outside, it doesn't really matter that much. The people who I love the most, they're safe and they're with me. And it kind of makes everything else seem a little insignificant when I really, am honest about it. However, it doesn't change the way I feel sometimes, this frustrations and, that sense of not liking, not being able to do what I do, what I want to do, and when I want to do it. And as I was reflecting on this, I kind of realized that Jesus, he has used this bubble approach with us. He makes a promise in Matthew 18 where he gives the Great Commission to his disciples. He says this to them, Matthew 18 and starting at verses 19, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you." And then listen to the promise that goes with this, "And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." And what we find out about Christ is he's someone who holds the presence of his friends and those he loves incredibly highly. You know, when he came back from the resurrection, you know, he didn't storm into the palaces and the temples and kick doors in and say, "Here I am, here's the proof I'm alive." He could have, but he didn't. Instead, we find him having, you know, cooked fish on a beach with his friends, having a barbecue, or having a dinner party, you know, with those in the upper room. And we see him creating this bubble around him of people that he loved and just kind of ignoring what was on the outside. And it's kind of been in isolation like this has given me another perspective, I guess, to understand Christ and who he is and what he means to us. And he says, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age. And that's a bubble that he's created that includes us, and we're invited to be part of it. And I guess the thing that I'm finding is the more and more is how I'm needing to be really intentional about reaching into that. Getting up in the morning, and before I've had my coffee, I'm pretty grumpy, and I have to pause right there and say, "Okay, Lord, you know, you have promised that you're here with me in this room right now before I've had my coffee," and I just acknowledge your presence, and I thank you. And I'm finding, in a deep way, he's meeting me there. So I just like to encourage all of us today to hold on to that truth and to reach into Christ's bubble that he's created, to be included on the inside of his kingdom, on the inside of what he's doing, on the inside of relationship with him. So just invite you to consider that. Thank you for being with me, and we'll finish with 2 minutes of silence again. Bless you all. Bye now.